Good day, everyone. I am Rachel Purnell, and we will talk about elements exposed to a particular hazard. The vulnerability to a natural hazard often asks a question on how large an effect does a hazard of a certain severity have on a particular element's at risk. This module is written to help you understand the four main types of elements that can be exposed to hazard. An integral factor in understanding the true extent of the risk is vulnerability to natural hazard. Although there is no single vulnerability definition, it, it generally refers to the impact that a hazard has on people, infrastructure, and the economy. That is, it asks how big an effect a hazard of some severity has on a particular element at risk. Vulnerability can be broken down into four main elements that may be exposed to specific hazard. So, upat diri ka mga types or elements that can be exposed to hazard. Ang una is physical. Number two, social. Number three, economic. And four, environmental. So, what is physical? Physical is population, density, remoteness of a settlement, the site, location, design, and materials. For critical infrastructure and for housing determined exposure. Physical instructors like building, infrastructure, roads, bridges, railways, and essential facilities, hospital, school, emergency shelter. Mao na siya ang mga example sa physical. So, diri na pud ta sa social. Social. This refers the vulnerable and marginalized group. So, when we say marginalized group, which include individuals or group of people that face higher exposure to disaster, risk, and poverty, including but not limited to women, especially pregnant women, youth, children, especially orphans and occupant children, elderly, differently abled people, indigenous people, the disadvantaged family and individuals living in high-risk area and danger zones, and those living in the road right-of-ways and highly congested areas are vulnerable to industrial, environmental, health hazard, and road accidents. Included in the exposure are the marginalized farmers and fishers folk RA or Republic Act 101-16. Elements encompasses people and their communities including their social structures, cultural heritage, and access to resources. So, ang example ana sa social is bawa, the elderly. Homeless after Sindong, this elderly carries a sacks containing things he was able to salvage amidst of devastation brought by the typhoon. Like number three is economic. Sabot ra mo to kay sabotable na kay ni siya. Number three, economic. Exposure is highly dependent upon the economic status of individual, communities, and nation. The poor are usually more exposed to disaster because they lack of resources to build sturdy instructors and put other engineering measures in place to protect themselves for being negatively impacted by disaster. For example, poor families may live in squatters settlement in highly congested and hazard-prone area because they cannot afford to live in a safer places. They are those who often to stay in unsafe areas due to proximity or nearness to their livelihood. So ang example jud ani economic is ang mga tao kung mga ang mga tao nga tong wala-wala jud nga napuyo sa squatter kay sila ang sila ang prone sa mga disaster because nang wala sila mapuy-an nga safe nga place, so dito sila gapuyo sa squatter, so sila yun ang dali nga maepektuhan sa mga disaster. Next is environmental. Environmental activities that cause natural resources depletion and resource degradation are important key. These elements include the natural surrounding such as land, water, air, and ecosystem. Tulog mga kahoy, na wala na sa tubig, ang lupa, nagliki-liki na tungod sa kainit, El Nino, wala siya. So, that's all. Dili na ta sa assessment. Ang direction, choose the letter of the best answer. Write the chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. 1. Which among the following elements that can be exposed to hazard refers to the population density, remoteness or settlement, site location, design, and materials? A. Physical. B. Economic. C. Environmental. D. Social. A, B, C, D. Number 2. Number 2. Which among the following elements that can Number 2. Which among the following elements that can be exposed to hazard refers to the communities that cannot afford to live in a safer places? A. Physical. B. Economic. C. Environmental. D. Social. Number 3. What makes Philippines Number 3. What makes Philippines a vicinity of different kinds of calamities every year? A. Philippines is a archipelago. B. Philippines is a small country. C. Philippines is a developing country. D. Philippines is facing the Atlantic Ocean. Number 4. Which among the following elements that can be exposed to hazard refers the vulnerable and marginalized people? A. Physical. B. Ay nabaliskad. B. Economic. C. Environmental. D. Social. Pili ra mo diha. 5. Which among the following elements that can be exposed to hazard refers to the activity that causes natural resources depletion and resource degradation? A. Physical. B. Economic. C. Environmental. D. Social.